The cold silence of space surrounded the massive structure known as Fort Haven. From the outside, it looked like a hollowed-out asteroid drifting quietly beyond Pluto's orbit. Inside, it was a fortress, Earth's hidden shield, built in secret over the last 100 years. Commander Ryan Cole stood at the observation deck, arms folded behind his back. His eyes scanned the fleet docked in the hangars below. Rows of sleek, dark gray warships shimmered under artificial lights. Each ship had stealth coatings and plasma cannons capable of tearing through the strongest hulls. They weren't just tools of war. They were Earth's last hope. Ryan was 36 tall, with short dark hair and a sharp jaw. His uniform was simple, but the badge on his chest told everyone who he was. Supreme Commander of the Earth Defense Fleet. Calm, sharp, focused. He never raised his voice, but when he spoke, people listened. He turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Mark Dallin, who stood quietly beside him. "Status report," Ryan asked. "All systems operational. Ships are fueled. Weapons loaded. Pilots on standby," Dallin replied. "Good. Keep them ready, but silent. No signals. We're still ghosts." "Yes, Commander." For decades, Earth had been silent. After the first contact wars ended with massive human losses, Earth withdrew from galactic politics. The Draveri Empire, the alien force that ruled most of the galaxy, deemed humans too weak to bother with. They left Earth alone, thinking it broken and unworthy of conquest. But Earth had been preparing. In underground labs and deep space bunkers, scientists built new weapons. Engineers designed warships that couldn't be traced. The government passed control to a united defense council, and Ryan Cole was chosen to lead the hidden fleet. Now something was changing. "Commander," Dallin said suddenly, "we've intercepted a long-range signal. It's encrypted, but not ours. Source: deep space. Outer colonies. Could be a probe. Could be more." Ryan's expression didn't change, but his eyes narrowed slightly. He walked over to the control panel and brought up the signal. The code was fast, sharp, and full of static, but one word stood out. "Draveri." "They're on the move," Ryan said quietly. "They haven't touched our systems in 100 years. Why now?" Dallin hesitated. "Do you think they found out?" "No," Ryan replied. "Not yet, but they will. And when they do, they'll come for us." He tapped a button and activated a secure channel to Fort Haven's command center. "This is Commander Cole. Begin silent defense protocol. I want all fleet captains briefed in 1 hour." "Yes, sir," came the reply. As the channel closed, Ryan stared out at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, a threat was growing. He didn't know when the attack would come, but he knew this: Earth wouldn't run again. This time, they would fight back. And this time, they would be ready. A week passed. Earth's outer colonies, spread thin across the edge of the solar system, had gone silent. No messages, no signals, just static. One by one, communication relays went dark. Inside Fort Haven, Commander Ryan Cole stood in the command center, surrounded by blinking consoles and busy officers. The giant screen at the front of the room showed a map of the system. Red blips flashed where colonies used to be. "They're being wiped out," said Lieutenant Mark Dallin, his voice tight. "One after another. No warning. No survivors." Ryan didn't reply right away. He studied the screen. His jaw tightened. Then he turned to the room. "Bring up the last visual feed we received." A short video clip appeared. The image was shaky, recorded from a security drone on Colony Sigma 9. A child's toy floated in zero gravity, bumping into a wall. Then, bright light. A shadow. A massive ship dropped from hyperspace, black and spiked like a predator. Blue plasma blasts tore through the colony's walls. Alarms screamed. The screen cut to static. Silence filled the room. One officer whispered, "It's the Draveri." Same design as the warships in the old war logs. Ryan nodded slowly. They're not scouting. This is an invasion. The room erupted into tense whispers. Some officers looked afraid. Others were angry. Dallin stepped forward. We need to respond now, Commander. The Council is asking for a decision. Some want to send a message of surrender. Surrender? Ryan's voice was low, but it cut through the room. Everyone fell silent. He stepped toward the center of the room. They think Earth is still the same weak planet they ignored 100 years ago. They don't know what we've built, what we've become. If we surrender now, we lose everything we've prepared for. He looked around the room, meeting every gaze. We fight. Dallin gave a firm nod. I'll alert the Council. Tell them it's not a request, Ryan said. It's a reality. A few hours later, Ryan stood in the hangar. Pilots suited up. Engineers made last-minute checks on weapon systems. One by one, the sleek, silent ships powered on. Ryan walked past the line of captains. Each one saluted him. He paused in front of Captain Mira Lang, one of the fleet's best. You ready? He asked. She gave a small grin. Born ready, sir. Ryan nodded and turned to the others. We're not launching a full war yet. This is a message. A reminder. The Draveri don't own the stars. Not anymore. The fleet lifted from the hangar, quiet as shadows. At the edge of the solar system, the remains of Sigma-9 floated in silence. Then, a ripple in space, Earth's fleet arrived. Ryan's warship, Vanguard 1, led the charge. They found a small Draveri scouting unit near the wreckage. 3 ships, lightly armed, but fast. The enemy didn't expect resistance. Lock targets, Ryan ordered. Locked. Fire. Blue plasma streaked through the dark. One Draveri ship exploded on impact. The other 2 tried to flee, but Earth's ships were faster. Clean. Silent. Precise. Minutes later, it was over. Ryan stood at the bridge window, watching the final pieces of the enemy ships drift apart. Message sent, he said quietly. Back on Fort Haven, the Council received the report. Some were shocked, others relieved. For the first time in years, Earth had struck first. But far away, on a distant Draveri command ship, Warlord Kravox watched the footage in silence. His red eyes glowed with cold fury. A human fleet, he said to himself. Interesting. He crushed the data tablet in one hand. Prepare the full fleet, he ordered. Earth thinks it can fight. Let them learn fear. The control room of Vanguard 1 buzzed with low voices and steady beats. Commander Ryan Cole stood at the main screen, arms crossed, eyes fixed on a slowly moving red dot. It was a Draveri recon probe, small, fast, and dangerous. It had scanned the remains of the scouting ships Earth had destroyed. They know we're here now, Ryan said. Lieutenant Dallin nodded beside him. They'll send more. They already have, Ryan replied. It's just a matter of time. He tapped a command into the console. A full map of the outer system appeared. Red zones marked recent Draveri movement. Blue symbols marked Earth's ships. Ryan had scattered them into tight groups, fast-moving units, able to hit and vanish before the enemy could respond. He didn't want open war, not yet. He wanted to test the enemy, learn their tactics, and make them bleed. 2 days later, Earth's fleet jumped into a hidden sector near Neptune's dark side. A Draveri patrol was waiting. 6 ships, scanning for signs of life. Ryan's voice came over the fleet channel. Calm. Focused. Stick to the plan. No hero moves. In and out. Captain Mira Lang and her squad flew in from above, hidden behind the shadow of Neptune. Ryan came in low, engines barely humming. The enemy didn't detect them, until it was too late. Fire on my mark, Ryan said. 3, 2, 1. Fire. The first volley ripped through the largest Draveri ship. It cracked in half, spewing fire and debris. The others turned sharply, returning fire with violent blasts of red energy. One of Earth's smaller ships took a hit and spun out of control, but the rest held formation. Mira's squad darted between the Draveri vessels, hitting engines and shield nodes with precision. "They're not used to being outmaneuvered," she said over comms. "They will be," Ryan replied. Within 15 minutes, the battle ended. 5 enemy ships destroyed, 1 disabled and left drifting. Earth lost only 1 pilot. Ryan stood quietly on the bridge, watching the wreckage spin in the void. "We're not just surviving anymore," he said. "We're winning." Back at Fort Haven, the War Council reviewed the battle footage. Some were stunned, others skeptical. "Isn't it risky?" one elder council member asked. "Poking a giant like this?" Ryan faced them without flinching. "They see us as prey. That ends now. Every time they strike, we will answer harder and faster." He brought up a new image on the screen, a diagram of a large asteroid belt between Saturn and Jupiter. "We fight next in the belt," he said. "It's dense, dangerous, and full of places to hide. Perfect for a trap." The council gave a quiet nod. There were no more objections. Far across the stars, deep within the command chamber of the Draveri Imperial Fleet, Warlord Kravox glared at the reports. His claws tapped the table slowly. "Humans have learned tricks," he said. One of his officers stepped forward. "Their ships are fast, cloaked. They strike, then vanish." "Coward's tactics," Kravox growled. "But clever." He leaned over the display, showing Earth's system. "Tell the fleet to prepare for full engagement. I want their home world surrounded. I want fear to spread through their people like fire." "Yes, Warlord." As the Draveri fleet began its slow march toward Earth, Ryan and his forces were already preparing their next move. They knew the storm was coming, and they were ready to meet it. The asteroid belt between Jupiter and Saturn was thick with silence. Sharp rocks the size of buildings floated through space, spinning slowly, casting long shadows under the weak sun. It was the perfect place to hide, or to die. Commander Ryan Cole stood at the center of Vanguard 1's bridge. The fleet was in position, cloaked behind massive asteroids. Engines were powered down. Weapons were armed. "Status?" Ryan asked quietly. "All ships ready," Lieutenant Dellen replied. "Enemy fleet approaching." 4 minutes. Ryan didn't move. He stared at the tactical screen where dozens of red Draveri ships crept into view, bigger than anything they had fought so far. Heavy cruisers, carrier ships, destroyers. This wasn't a patrol. This was a message. "They think they'll crush us here," Ryan said. "We're going to prove them wrong." The Draveri fleet moved in tight formation, scanning the belt for signs of life. Their lead cruiser, Bladyshadow, had stronger armor than any human ship. Inside it, Draveri commanders hissed in their language, confident. "This is where the humans hide." One of them scoffed. Pathetic. But they didn't know Earth had mined the belt with traps, floating explosives hidden in the shadows. They didn't know Earth's ships were watching from all sides. They didn't know Commander Ryan Cole had studied their formations for months. "Let them get closer," Ryan ordered. The Earth fleet waited, silent, still. When the Draveri ships reached the center of the belt, Ryan gave the signal. "All ships, engage." The silence exploded. Mines triggered in a wave, lighting up the belt with fire and shrapnel. Several Draveri ships vanished in seconds. Earth's warships powered on and opened fire from every angle. Captain Mira Lang and her squad attacked the left flank, cutting through the enemy's rear ships. Vanguard 1 moved forward, blasting a path straight through the middle. The Draveri were caught off guard, but they didn't run. They regrouped quickly, returning fire with deadly force. Red beams sliced through the darkness. One of Earth's destroyers was hit and burst apart. Another took heavy damage. "We've got 2 down," Dellen shouted. "Hold the line," Ryan replied. "Push them back." He watched the chaos on the screen, ships spinning, rocks breaking apart, fire in every direction. It was the largest space battle humanity had ever fought, and they were holding their ground. After almost an hour of fierce combat, the Draveri fleet began to break. Ships turned away. Engines flared as they tried to escape the belt. Rayan didn't chase them. He stood on the bridge, chest rising and falling with steady breaths. "Let them run," he said. "Let them report what happened here." Dallin wiped sweat from his brow. "We lost 5 ships, 23 crew." Ryan's face was heavy, but firm. They didn't die for nothing. He looked out at the wreckage, floating in slow silence. "We've proven we're not prey anymore. We're hunters now." Later, in a private room at Fort Haven, Ryan stood alone, watching a video feed from Earth. People had gathered in the streets. They were cheering. For the first time, they believed. Then a message came through, a new signal from deep space, strong, direct, unmistakable. It was from the Draveri fleet. The message was simple: "We are coming for Earth." Ryan stared at the words. "They're making this personal now," he said. He turned and walked back to the command room. "Prepare for final defense," he said to Dallin. "Bring every ship home. We end this where it all began." Earth looked peaceful from orbit. The blue oceans, the green lands, the soft glow of city lights beneath the clouds. But above the planet, space was no longer calm. The Draveri fleet had arrived. Hundreds of warships spread across the stars like a black storm. At the center was Bloodfire, the command ship of Warlord Kravox. Its sharp wings glowed red. Its cannons were fully charged. Inside Fort Haven, Commander Ryan Cole stood in the war room. The large display showed the enemy's approach. Red dots moved closer every second. "They took the bait," said Lieutenant Dallin. "Just like you planned." Ryan nodded. "Good. Now we make them pay for underestimating us." Weeks ago, Ryan had ordered Earth's fleet to retreat, making it look like humanity was out of options. They left debris and disabled ships floating as fake signs of defeat. Behind the scenes, they built a network of weapons hidden in Earth's orbit: satellite cannons, stealth drones, gravity traps that could pull ships into dangerous spins. The final trap was ready. In space, the Draveri fleet moved into attack position. Kravox stood on the bridge of Bloodfire, staring down at Earth. "So weak," he said. "So quiet." His officers smiled. "Shall we begin the bombardment, Warlord?" Kravox raised his clawed hand. "Not yet. Let them see us first. Let them feel the fear." He opened a wide broadcast channel. "To the people of Earth," he said, his voice deep and sharp, "this is your end. Your world will burn, and your name will vanish from the stars." He ended the message. But before he could give the order to fire, something changed. One by one, his ships began to shake. "What is happening?" he shouted. Across space, hidden satellites powered on. Invisible gravity wells activated. Draveri ships started drifting out of formation. Some spun. Some collided. Then the Earth fleet returned, fully cloaked until now. Plasma cannons lit the sky. The surprise attack hit hard. Earth's ships came in fast and silent, striking the enemy's weak spots. Cannons hidden on the moon opened fire. Explosions lit up the night. One of the Draveri cruisers broke in half and fell toward the atmosphere. Kravox roared in rage. "They tricked us." He ordered all ships to attack, but the damage was done. Their formation was broken. Communication was scattered. Inside Vanguard 1, Ryan stayed calm. Target Bloodfire. Cut off the head. Captain Mira Lang and her squad flew straight for the command ship. Enemy fighters tried to block them, but Earth's drones cleared the way. On board Vanguard 1, Ryan turned to Dallin. "Prepare the boarding team. I'm going in." "You're what?" Dallin asked, eyes wide. "We end this face to face." Ryan's ship docked onto Bloodfire's side under heavy fire. His team cut through the hull and stormed in. Travari guards met them with blasters and blades. A brutal fight began in the metal halls. Rayan moved fast and silent, leading the way. His goal was clear: find Kravox. Finally, they reached the control chamber. Kravox stood at the center, tall and armored. His red eyes glowed with fury. "Human," he growled, "you dare come here?" Rayan raised his weapon. "You brought this on yourself." They charged. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. Kravox was strong, but Rayan was faster. He dodged, blocked, and struck with purpose. Every move was practiced, every step precise. The final blow came fast, a blade through Kravox's chest. The Travari warlord dropped to his knees. "This is not the end," he whispered. "For you, it is," Rayan said. Kravox collapsed. Across the sky, the Travari ships began to fall back. Leaderless, confused, and outmatched, they fled the system. Earth's ships held position, watching them go. The trap had worked. Earth had won. But the war wasn't over yet. Smoke filled the hallway of the enemy ship. Commander Rayan Cole stood over the body of Warlord Kravox, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. The final blow had been made. The Travari's strongest warrior, their voice of fear, was dead. Behind Rayan, his team moved quickly through the corridor, disabling power systems and collecting enemy data. Every second mattered. The ship was breaking down, lights flickering, systems failing. "Sir, we have to go," shouted Lieutenant Dallin through the comlink. Rayan turned and gave one last look at Kravox's fallen form. "This ends now," he said, and ran back toward the docking port. Outside, the sky above Earth burned with light. The last wave of the Travari fleet was in full retreat. They scattered in all directions, their formation lost, their strength broken. Earth's fleet didn't chase them. Commander Rayan had made it clear: let them run. Let the galaxy hear what happened. Let fear change tides. Inside Fort Haven, cheers broke out in the command center as Rayan's shuttle returned. Officers and engineers clapped. Pilots saluted. Dallin met him at the landing bay, wide-eyed and smiling. "You did it," Dallin said. "No," Rayan replied. "We did it." He looked up at the massive screen showing Earth below. Still whole, still free. News of the victory spread fast. Across cities and space stations, people poured into the streets. They waved flags. They sang. They cried. Children who once grew up fearing the stars now looked at them with pride. On the United Earth Council floor, leaders stood to speak. There was no more doubt. Earth was no longer the galaxy's weak link. They had defended their home, and won. Later, Rayan stood alone on the viewing deck of Fort Haven. Earth turned slowly in the distance. His reflection stared back at him from the glass. He didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He thought about the pilots who didn't make it home, the officers who gave everything. The silence after the final shot. Victory had come at a cost, but it was worth it. Captain Mira Lang joined him quietly. "They'll come again," she said. "Maybe," Rayan replied, "but next time, they won't find a quiet planet." He turned to her. "They'll find a world that fights back." Mira smiled. "So, what now?" "Now." Rayan looked back at Earth. "Now we lead. We protect. We grow stronger." He paused. "We've proven we belong out there, and no one will forget that." In the deep corners of the galaxy, word of Earth's defense reached even the darkest systems. Warlords whispered. Traitors talked. Some feared. Some respected. But all of them remembered one truth. They claimed their fleet was unbeatable, until humanity proved them dead wrong.